everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Kami and I am a part-time reseller on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari. And today we are going to talk about my top 15 best sales of October. So October was not that great of a month. I was hoping for much better because last year in 2022, October was my best month ever. October did not hold up to that standard this year, but it wasn't bad either. It definitely wasn't my worst month. I think it was like my third or fourth worst month this year so far, but it would have been great to make even more money as always. But I had some pretty exciting sales and this month, within the 15 items that I'm going to show you, I had a sale on each platform on this list. So looking over here, I will put a picture of the item, and then when I am talking about the item, I will tell you how much it sold for, how much I had into it, and describe it a little bit in detail because I definitely think these are things that you should be on the lookout for. And I will also tell you what sold really fast and what took a little bit of time to sell and whether I thought it was worth it to hold on to the item for that long. So starting off, I want to talk about just some general numbers for the month of October concerning my sales. So starting off, the total gross sales that I had, which is the number that the item sold for. On eBay, this does include shipping because the buyer does pay me for shipping, and then I purchase the label afterwards. So that's considered a cost with the way that I do my accounting. So that total number of gross sales was $3,536, which seems like a great amount, and it definitely can be a great amount. However, I have to pay platform fees, I have to pay shipping on eBay. I also have to pay or take into consideration the amount that I paid for each item. So that number we will get to here in just a minute, but I did sell 134 items over the month of October. So that means my average sale price is $26.39 for the month of October. My total profit, so this number takes out all the platform fees, all of my cost of goods, all of my shipping charges that I have to pay, was $2,029.94. So my kind of minimum that I do like to make is over $2,000 profit. There have only been 2 months out of this year that I did not quite hit that mark, but it was close to 2,000. So I'm glad I definitely hit over that mark, even though it was just a tiny bit in the month of October. My average days to sell, so the average number of days that it took an item from the day I listed it to the day I sold it, was 221 days. But the last couple of months, that number has definitely increased. And the reason for that is I am trying to get rid of a ton of inventory from 2021 and the very beginning of 2022 that I have remaining. So those items definitely have taken a lot longer to sell. When we're splitting it up per platform, Mercari was definitely the platform that I sold the least on, but that does not change every month. I usually only have somewhere between 5 to maybe 12 sales on Mercari. It's just super easy to list on there, super easy to ship. And so I cross-list a lot of things over there, but I don't get a ton of sales, but I am perfectly happy with that because it's so easy to list. So on Mercari, I sold 5 items. My gross amount, so again, that amount that it sold for, those 5 items sold for, was $160. And then my net profit on those 5 items was $113.78. So I consider if I'm taking an extra minute every time that I am cross-listing something, and I can make $110, $113 per month, I'm here for it. Now, eBay definitely has way less sales on it for me than Poshmark, more than Mercari though, but eBay, I tend to sell things at a higher price. So I sold 28 items on eBay for a gross total of $993.80. So you can see that's a huge jump from Mercari, but that amount does include how much the buyer pays me to ship the item. And my net profit on eBay was $586.72. Poshmark, the last platform left, is definitely my main platform. So Poshmark was the one that I started selling on back in May of 2020. It's crazy. It has been 3 years already. So yeah, I always have the most sales over on Poshmark. So last month I sold 103 items for a gross amount of $2,383. So more than double eBay. My net profit on Poshmark was $1,329.44. So Poshmark is definitely the platform that I list every single thing to, and then I list majority of items over to Mercari and over to eBay. All right, so these 15 items are based off of the price that it sold for. So again, I've said it a couple times, but I just want to make sure that you guys know that this amount that it sold for does include any shipping for it. However, when I purchase the shipping label, that is considered a cost for me. So you'll see that notated and calculated into my net profit for that item. All right, number 15, sold on Poshmark. It is this pair of Birdies black slip-on loafers. I think I've only ever found this brand twice, and both times it has sold for a decent amount. This pair I picked up at a garage sale, and anytime during this video when I mentioned I picked something up at a garage sale and give you the amount that I paid, I always average my cost of goods on garage sale days. So it's not going to be an exact amount. It's going to be kind of a funky amount that you're going to think, well, why did she pay that random amount? It is not that's how much I paid for it, but that is the average amount that I paid that day for those items. So this one I purchased at a garage sale for $1.39. It sold for $40 with a shipping discount. My profit was $28.59, but this took 329 days to sell. Now, I definitely think Birdies is a great brand to pick up, and I will be looking forward in the future. However, I believe this was a size 6.5, so I think that's why it took quite a bit of time to sell, and I would definitely recommend picking up maybe 7.5, 8, or larger moving forward. Number 14 also sold on Poshmark. It was this Lululemon gray pink athletic jacket. I couldn't find the style name for it, but I did pick it up at a Goodwill for $7.99. It sold for $42 and my profit was $25.61. It did take 214 days, but I think part of that was I just couldn't find, the style name. I find that when I do get that information and put that information in a listing, the items sell a lot faster. Number 13 sold on Poshmark as well. It was a 511 tactical gray and orange full zip jacket. It was a men's jacket, and 511 Tactical is a brand that I think a lot of like firemen, policemen, outdoors, occupations, a lot of times they'll wear that because it's kind of that outdoorsy, heavy duty type clothing. We only have one store in my city. I've never been in it, but I did pick this up at a Uptown Cheapskate in my area. They were doing a big sale at the end of last year, and so I did pick this up for $9. It sold for $42, and so my profit was $24.60, and it took 291 days to sell. I don't know that I would pick this up again, at least for that price, because I did have a lot more into it than I would a typical jacket. I say a lot more, probably a couple dollars more, but it did take quite a bit of time to sell. All right, number 12 sold on eBay. It was this Lululemon navy blue Swiftly short sleeve shirt. I purchased it at a Goodwill for $5.99, and it sold for $42.60 on eBay. So I've noticed when things Lululemon branded sell on eBay, it is definitely for a lot more than I would get on Poshmark. So I make sure to list every single Lululemon item I get over on eBay. So this only took 12 days to sell. My profit was $26.06. But yeah, I was definitely happy with the amount that I got from that item. Number 11 sold back over on Poshmark. It was this Vuori gray Ease Performance half zip pullover. Vuori is a brand that I am loving right now. It is very popular in the athletic, athleisure like categories. And so this I picked up at what's called ARC, A-R-C. It is a like chain of thrift stores in the Denver, Colorado area. My husband actually found this, picked it up for $6.99. It sold for $43 and my profit was $27.41, but it sold in 6 days. Vuori never sits around for me longer than a month, so I love that it's always a quick flip. Number 10, we're going back over to eBay. I sold a pair of shoes on eBay, so I've been trying to list and cross list more shoes over on eBay, and I've actually gotten a couple of sales of shoe items there. The shipping is just a little bit more than like, a piece of clothing. But this was a brand called Naot, N-A-O-T. It was a pair of brown Kayla wedge sandals that I picked up at a garage sale for $3.48. It sold for $46.25, and my profit was $29.46. So for a pair of shoes, I am here for it. And this item only took 7 days to sell, so sold in a week, which is always great. Number 9 sold on eBay as well. It was this pair of Patagonia men's blue-gray Quandary pants. I picked it up at a thrift store in Kansas City called City Thrift. I was kind of hesitant on if I wanted to pick it up because it was, I did have a coupon, but it was a little bit higher. It was like $15, I think. But with a coupon, I ended up only paying $10.48. It sold for $46.40, and my profit was $24.18, and it sold pretty quickly in 47 days. Number 8 sold on Poshmark. It was this pair of Lululemon dark pink Wonder Under high-rise tights, but this pair of leggings was in a size 16, so considered plus size, and of course Lululemon plus size. I love wearing Lululemon. I'm actually wearing some right now, so that higher size in Lululemon can definitely bring a little bit more money when it sells. So I picked these up for $7.99 at a Goodwill. It sold for $47 with a shipping discount, and so my profit was $27.59, and it sold in 199 days. Now I did have this item listed a little bit higher, so I think that's why it took a little bit longer to sell, but I'm pretty happy with how much I got from it. Number 7 was the only item on this list from Mercari. So this actually sold like the very end of October, so only a couple days ago. But it was this pair of Spanx Maternity Mama Jeanish ankle leggings. I have found Spanx and Figs Maternity items sell very quickly and very well for me. So this pair I picked up at a Goodwill for $5.49. It sold for $50 on Mercari, and I believe this was actually a full price sale on Mercari, which was great. My profit was $37.35, and it only took 24 days to sell. So if you find Spanx in a maternity sizing, I would definitely look up comps and consider picking it up. Number 6 was an interesting one because this is not a category I normally pick up. It sold on Poshmark. It was this pair of vintage Rocky Mountain mom style jeans. Now I don't pick up vintage, but I did hear about this once or twice, this brand of vintage jeans that supposedly sold really well. And I happened to find one while I was, thrifting in a Goodwill one day. So I decided to pick it up and see how it did. So I paid $8.49 at Goodwill. It sold for $52 with a shipping discount, and my profit was $31.09, and it sold within 51 days, and I am perfectly happy with that. All right, we're down to the last 5. So number 5 sold on eBay. It was this pair of Lululemon purple dance studio pants. I will always pick up dance studio pants. It's a style that just sells really, really well from Lululemon. My husband actually found these in the bins in Colorado, and my cost of goods was only $1.04. So these sold on eBay for $56.15. So profit was amazingly $40.77, and they sold in 9 days. Love it. All right, number 4 also sold on eBay. It was this New Tags MM LaFleur blue Octavia top. I picked it up at a Goodwill in Denver for $7.99, and it sold for $61.54. So that means my profit was $39.46, and it sold in 26 days. The person actually on eBay gave me really good positive feedback and said she was having a really hard time finding this top new with tags, and she loved that I, was able to sell it to her, especially at a great price, and I got some money from it and she got a great deal, so we were both happy. Number 3 was also new with tags. It sold on eBay, and it was this new with tags Miracle Suit color block touche swimsuit in a size 16D. So it was a little bit bigger of a size, but I specifically remember being in this Goodwill and there was a new rack and it was just hanging there on the end. And I went over and looked at it, and there was unfortunately no price tag. Now, usually the Goodwills around here they're not terrible. If there's no tag, usually they'll give you a price for it. And so he went into the back when I talked to the cashier and gave it to me for a really good price. So I picked it up at Goodwill for $3.49. It sold on eBay for $66.55. Now, mind you, this was a swimsuit and it was in October. It sold in October, which is crazy. It's warm this time of year somewhere in the world, right? So my profit ended up being $47.94 and it sold in 62 days. Just, yeah, I definitely love that brand. I've picked it up a couple times before and it's always sold really well for me. All right, number 2 sold on Poshmark. It was this pair of Fry dark brown Mustang boots. They were almost knee high and I picked them up at a garage sale. My average cost of goods that day was only $3.97. I believe I actually picked these up for about $15, but I got some really good things that day for really cheap. So it averaged out to be a really low cost of goods. This sold on Poshmark for $100. My profit was $76.03 and it sold in 176 days, but it's like the right time of season for them to sell right now. So I was really excited about that sale. All right, so I will try to find the video where I picked this item up and link it up above. This is number 1 and it was definitely a item that I was obsessed over when I picked it up and I knew that it would sell for a pretty penny. So it was this Hatch, which is a maternity brand, orange turtleneck long sleeve dress. It was perfect color. It was perfect style for the season we're getting ready to go into, and I love picking up Hatch. I've only found it a couple times, but it's always sold very well for me. So I picked it up for $9.99 at Goodwill in the Denver area. It sold on eBay for $113.80. It wasn't new. It was in really good condition, but that's how much it sold for used. Amazing. My profit ended up being $78.45 and it sold in 16 days. So I was super excited about that sale and all the other sales I had too. Like I mentioned, I am selling some older items and I'm making basically pennies. I will never try to sell something for a price where I'm going to lose money. So a lot of the older items that I'm selling, I'm making like 4 to 10 cents on profit wise. But there are a lot of things that I picked up earlier on in my reselling journey and I just wouldn't pick them up again. So I'm happy to get what I paid back plus a couple of cents. And all those cents do add up. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to comment down below what of those 15 items was your favorite item that I sold. And let me know how October sales went for you. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.